What's the challenge with Fields with his running ability, and then you also got I guess maybe it's a little bit like last week to some extent, but between the running back or the running ability of the quarterback, but also the big play receiver.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with Fields. Incredible talent. I think it's been the age-old problem with mobile quarterbacks. You have the perfect rush or the perfect pressure, the perfect coverage, and then guys that are able just to create things with their feet. And he's every time we play against him, I'm shocked at how big in stature he is. So big athlete that can run around, and it's something that you have to take in, you have to account for every single play. And then obviously with them getting number 2, he's really obviously we played against him the first week of the season, but just to see how he's kind of just fit into that offense as the weeks and months of the season have gone on. Had a huge game against Atlanta last week, so he's a problem.
Talking about that perfect rush or perfect pressure, I imagine the equation of what makes it perfect might change with a guy like Fields that can do those things with his feet.
Yeah.
What do you tell you guys up front in terms of what this is what the perfect pressure this week looks like?
It's a great question. I mean, it's something that we've had to preach all week because you just have to stay alive with this guy constantly. And you got to be conscious of obviously your rush lane, but then, feeling your buddy with his rush lane and playing off him at times. The play's never over with this guy, literally. There's countless examples that we've seen where you're like, oh, they sacked him. Oh my gosh, they didn't sack him. He's still alive, running for 20 yards. So it's an element of his game that is something you got to be conscious of every single play. Definitely every single time they drop back and throw the ball. But then they do a great job with all the quarterback design runs where he actually is a running back. So does a great job.
It's going to sound like a dumb question, but obviously, just dumb people. Jaire's obviously dealt with a lot of injuries, and I think he would admit that it hasn't been his best performance when he has been healthy enough to play. How easy of a decision is it now that he's back to say you're just back starting, given how CV and CB have kind of stepped up this year?
Yeah, we're literally taking it day by day. And one thing I will say is that Ja's been phenomenal this week. He really has, and it's still Jaire Alexander. When you get him back in the building and back with the potential of the availability, it's great to have him just here and with us and back in the fold. But Ja, like I said, he has been really, really great this week, and it's been just been awesome having him back in the building on Wednesday and Thursday.
Joe, what did you think of what Corey gave you, with considering the turnaround and Eric not being available to be able to have the performance that he did against him?
Yeah, consistency is the truest measure of performance is consistency, and I think just to have a guy like CB, same thing with the job that Eric Wilson had to come in and do. Those guys are, I really tip my hat off to them. Just staying ready, being, they never know when their moment's going to get called upon. Obviously, CB knew that he was going to, start and play a lot. But just the way he competed and the way he played, just a true professional, and he was a stud for us on Sunday in Minnesota.
Some of the guys in the locker room talk about their desire to be aggressive, and certainly you were aggressive on Sunday night against the Vikings. How do you process that with, depending on the opponent, kind of calling a game like that when it is that kind of aggressiveness, and when you're maybe more zone, more off? How do you process when is the right time for that?
Yeah, I think I've talked to you guys before. Every single game is different. It's who the offensive line is, who's the quarterback playing. Last week it was dealing with, number 18 and number 3. This week it's dealing with number 2, so, and then they have I think Cole is a one of the elite tight ends in this league. So every single week is different. And I think it's just feel. You gotta pick the right time, pick the right spot. But obviously what makes this week subtly different is, the mobility of the quarterback. So I think all those things kind of factor in. I don't think it's just one, you say, hey, this is the time that you call it pressure. This is the time that you play coverage. I think it's the feel of the game, but it all factors into the personnel that you're going against. And, this week's going to be completely different than last week from a personnel standpoint.
How much of that, though, is kind of a baseline? No matter who the opponent is, we're going to attack and we're going to be aggressive. And how much of that is, okay, there's just certain opponents we have to not have that mentality.
Well, I like to, a lot of people think that you're just attacking when you're, bringing X amount of people in the rush. We talk about our play style all the time, and I think we have a physical, get after you mindset with our play style. It doesn't mean a call doesn't set your play style. Play style should be, whether it's first down, second down, third down, should be whether you're playing coverage, zone coverage, man coverage, or it should be if you're pressuring. The mindset and the play style should be just a way that we play every single snap.
Joe, it was obviously Quay's second ejection this time last year in another win and in game. Matt talked earlier today about that play in the Carolina game where he kind of gets shoved and he doesn't retaliate. In terms of that aspect, just how he handles himself, maybe his temper, that was a problem last year. How have you seen him grow over the last year?
Well, I think Quay is he's an emotional guy. He plays the game, and I think we all appreciate his play style. But emotion, I think, plays a huge factor in every player's mindset and play style. But Quay's specifically, he plays a full tilt, full speed, physical brand of football all the time, and it is very emotional. And I think within that, a lot of players, they're right on the brink of crossing the line all the time, especially when some shenanigans happen. And I think I definitely don't want to look in the rearview mirror and review the past from last year, but I do think a young guy, and Quay's still a young guy. I think he's growing and learning every single play that he plays in this league. But he learned a lot from last year, and I think in moments when he can cross the line, he steps back and says, okay, let's just go back to the huddle and get my mind right. So, I'm sure there's times that all of us in this room, we don't even witness how many times that potentially could happen in a 65-play NFL football game with all the stuff that takes place, in the pile and on the ground and all the stuff that's being talked back and forth. But I think that's just part of the constant learning and evolution and growing that specifically Quay has done in going from year 1 to year 2.
Joe, I know it's hard to make the playoffs in any circumstance, but if you can do it with a young team, what does that mean for that group, both now and then, going forward, that they might have that in their back pocket, having done it once?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I mean, truly our mindset this week, we, I'd be lying to you if it's not on everyone's mind. But our mindset literally is just, thinking about going and winning our 9th game. Now, the cherry on the top is that if we do get our 9th win, we get to continue. But our mindset and our focus and our goal yesterday was to have a great Wednesday in preparation to go win the football game. That was our goal today, and tomorrow we'll come in here, we'll call it Fast Friday. Just have the best Friday that we've had of the year to help us, get ready to go play our best game.
Your run defense has run hot and cold, but the last 3 games has been really strong. What do you like about that? And then what's the challenge with Herbers, who had 2 back-to-back good games?
Yeah, I've always thought that kid's a heck of the back. Even when in years past when, you know, Montgomery's been there. You know, I've got a lot of respect for him as a runner. I think they do a great job with him, even in the passing game, the screen game. But just their scheme alone, you know, I think it's not only Herbert, you know, 23's done a great job, 21's come in and done a great job carrying the ball. And then obviously all the things that we've already talked about with Justin. But, you know, they do a great job running the ball. They really do. No matter what kind of aspect they use, whether it's conventional runs, quarterback design runs. I think they've done a great job of getting, you know, their receivers, whether it's, you know, we've already talked about number 2, but whether it's number 12 in fly sweeps and all those things. They challenge you on the perimeter. You know, they can line up and smash ball and do all those things as well. So, you know, they're second in the league in rushing for a reason. So it's going to be a great challenge for us. But I think the consistent part of it, I think that's the thing that I'm looking for. We've been consistent pretty good here the last couple of weeks. So that's the challenge this week, is having a team that is good running the ball, wants to run the ball, and let's go. The challenge is let's go stop it and knock it out.
Going back to Jaire, we see so little of his interactions internally within the building. We interview him once a week, and that's it. And he even said yesterday that, you know, probably be a little more serious in interviews now, and
Yeah.
he certainly was. You said it's been great to have him back, but obviously he was suspended for a reason. What's been the difference that you've noticed? What has been great with him this week that has been different maybe than before?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to get into all those things within the inner walls of our, you know, of our building and our locker room and our practice facility. But, you know, I think guys do things sometimes that, you know, they maybe wish they wouldn't have. I mean, every single one of us in here have made mistakes, you know. The thing that I am most proud of with Jaire, that had to be hard on him, you know, what he went through last week. And he came in and didn't flinch, and like I keep saying, he's been, he really, I mean, Ja's been great my whole time with him. But for what he went through, to be able to come in and just respond and come back in the building and be a pro and be a leader. You know, I looked at pre-practice today. He's over there doing footwork drills with Carrington Ballentine. You know, just things like that I think are pretty cool when you see a veteran guy. Even though he went through some hard times, he came back to work yesterday and today and has been a true pro. And that's the thing I love and respect most about 23.
2 more, please. Hey, Joe, did you get a game ball after the game on Sunday night?
The whole defense did.
I did see you holding it, right?
Well, he didn't hand out 23 specific game balls, but yeah, he gave one specifically to me, and then in addition to the entire defense got a game ball, so yes.
The reason I ask is obviously this time last week I asked you what it would mean to go out and play really well, and you just said, I just want to help the Green Bay Packers win.
Yeah.
Once you did help the Green Bay Packers win with all the stuff you've kind of been through the last several weeks, did it mean more to you than you were anticipating?
No, you know, I think my feeling and my answer was, you know, individually, I think every single one of us, it's, you know, when you guys write a good piece, you individually feel good about that. I know the way I'm wired is everything I do is for the staff and for the team, for the collective, so we can go out and do a great job and play good defense and win football games. So when it actually happens, you know, my answer is still the same. I think it was a great win for us. It wasn't a great win for me. It was, you know, it was a must-win situation. We found a way to go play really well, and we did it. And it was great for the Green Bay Packers. Absolutely.